Hello. Welcome, everybody. It's always fun to have mid-afternoon sessions in a hot tent. My name is Sridhar Ramaswamy. I lead the ads and commerce teams at Google. And here with me is Pali Bhatt,
Hey.
the product lead for payments at Google. And we're really excited to be talking to you about all the latest and greatest in Android Pay. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room. There are tons of pays that are out there. And all of you want to know, who's winning? Is there a winner? But the sad answer is, no, not really. There is no winner. Legacy payment methods like the credit card and cash are still the dominant payment methods that are being used out there. Even the most avid technology enthusiast among us is hesitant or scared to leave our credit cards and cash behind. And the natural question is, what's holding us back? We've thought a lot about this. And we think there are three big reasons for this. The first, of course, is a big one, is that all the mobile payment methods are kind of limited. Some work for physical contactless terminals. Some work with all terminals. Sometimes it works in-app, but not in, but not on the mobile web. And we're going to talk a lot about that. It's the unpredictability of whether your mobile payment method is going to work that makes you want to say, nope, I can't rely on it 100% of the time. We think the second big reason is that a lot of the payment schemes that are out there are kind of uncompelling. We are talking about an activity that all of us do many times a week that we've done the same way for many, many years. And so if you're going to go ask humanity to change the way that they think about payments, what's the value add? They're kind of uncompelling. And this is something we really do want to address as well. And we actually think that the uncompelling nature of the payment solution comes about because most payment solutions are kind of closed. They have a few key pieces of functionality, and that's it. What makes our smartphones great, whether it's Android or iOS, is not just the operating system. We like aspects of our phones that come directly from Google. But the fact of the matter is, what we really love are our apps. It's a great functionality that comes on. It is the innovation that developers like you have provided on the core platform. There is no comparable thing that's going on in mobile payments. We think that's kind of a big blocker. So what do we want to do? Today, we're going to be talking to you about all the things that we at Android Pay and Google are doing to make mobile payments better for merchants and retailers, for financial institutions, but most of all, for consumers like you and me. We think payments should work everywhere they're expected to work. They should work in a simple and secure way. And we think mobile payments should be more like a mobile payment passport than just a mobile wallet. And what you will hear from us today is our efforts at really making this happen. So we want Android Pay, therefore, to be everywhere where you and I expect it to be present. So we're going to talk a lot about that, starting with how are we going to have Android Pay work on mobile, web. It works fine in mobile apps. We're also going to be talking to you about how I can hear some sound from behind. Can others hear it? So we are also going to be talking to you about how Android Pay can work in other areas like public transit. We have a nifty demo coming up over there. And also in things like ATMs. Wherever you expect to use payment credentials, we think Android Pay should be usable there. And we'll show you through all of this how we are building a set of consistent and simple experiences that all users will know and love, but one that will also come with the security that is the promise of mobile payments. And finally, we also want to share with you what we are doing to drive innovation in the ecosystem, whether it is with retailers or with financial institutions like banks. Of course, the first part of being everywhere is being geographically everywhere. So we are very pleased to announce the expansion of Android Pay outside the US to an international location, which is we went live in the UK earlier today. Woo! Polly was there last weekend, surreptitiously running transactions with his Android phone, checking things out for himself to make sure that everything was fine. We worked with top partners. You see some of them here, HSBC, Lloyds Bank, to make sure that there is a lot of acceptance for Android Pay. And of course, with lots of apps and lots of physical locations. And this is only the beginning. So I'm also pleased to announce that we'll be launching Android Pay very soon, over the next few months, in Singapore and in Australia. I know our ambition is to be there everywhere Android is. So we're going to be launching in Singapore and Australia soon, with many more countries following soon after. They're all in the works. So we are pleased with how much we will be able to expand Android Pay through the world. Let's switch gears now and talk a little bit about what we've done with Android Pay in-app, inside apps. We launched the Android Pay in-app API in December, and we've been working with a lot of app developers to make Android Pay be accepted within their apps. And we are pleased with the results. Top apps, Uber, Airbnb, Jet.com, Instacart, and many others, some of which are listed here, all support in-app payments with Android Pay. And the first question you're going to ask is like, so what? Does this make a difference? We thought we'd show that with one of the apps that's adopted Android Pay, Fancy. Fancy is a really cool app in which you discover crowd-curated things. This morning I was browsing through stuff. If you can't tell, I drink a lot of coffee. And I found this really neat espresso mug that you could get from Fancy that a lot of other people have liked. Fancy adopted Android Pay in-app and saw some pretty stunning results. For users that use Android Pay within Fancy, they found that their conversion rate was twice that of other payment methods. I don't know how you folks think about conversion rates, but for something like AdWords sign-up, in which a lot of Google's fortune is dependent on, a 1% increase in conversion rate is cause for major celebration. And so getting a 2x increase in conversion rate on what turns out to be a substantial volume, 20% of Fancy's transactions flow through Android Pay, is a big, big deal for Fancy, and is a big, big deal for a lot of the apps that have adopted Android Pay. We are really pleased with the results that we've seen with these and with other apps. I'm now handed over to Polly. He's going to show us a quick demo and also walk us through some of the details of how things are working.
Yeah, thanks, Sridhar. Could we switch to Wolf Vision, please? OK. Awesome. So I'm going to open up my Nexus 5X device. And I want to show you Android Pay working inside one of my favorite apps, Airbnb. I love traveling, and I have a 7-year-old. So we need to make trips to Disneyland very, very frequently, as some of you might know. So I'm going to try and book something for a trip to Disneyland soon. So let's see here. I think I'd saved a search here for Disney. And by the way, this is actually the production app. So I want to make sure that it's actually still available. So let's check for availability. Selecting here, it looks like all of next week is available still, which is very nice. Sridhar, I hope you don't mind this. He's a very good manager. So,
The whole week? Who agreed to that?
so let me just save this and try to instant book this. And the cool thing about this is a really beautiful experience, right? The one place where it actually isn't all that great is payments. So if you go in and try to buy something and book a reservation, typically it means you have to try and like type in your credit card details, etc. So we worked with Airbnb to make this much better. So I'm going to try to add a payment. This is where I usually get a screen that says enter your credit card information, right? And if you have Android Pay set up on your device, you literally have to do nothing else. Just pick Android Pay. That's simple. Shows you the chooser with Android Pay and shows you my Discover card on there already. And all I have to do is confirm with my fingerprint. Okay? And you can see that Android Pay is already selected here. And the next time I come in, I don't even have to do this, right? You automatically can check out and you're done. So really, really sweet experience. I personally love it. Okay, so let me switch back to the presentation if you don't mind. So whenever I'm presenting with Sridhar, I'm always wondering where do I stand, right? Because standing here seems like a bad deal. Maybe I should stand here.
There you go.
So what I wanted to share with you is, of course, we've got this amazing integration with Airbnb. We've done the same kind of integration with Uber, all of these top apps, right? But how can every single developer take advantage of Android Pay? We wanted to make it really, really simple. So we worked with a number of top payment processors. I think you can just see this list. It's everybody from Braintree to Stripe to Adyen. We've got CyberSource, everyone integrated into Android Pay. So that adding in Android Pay, if you are a developer, is really, really simple. In fact, if you're an integrator with Braintree or Stripe, literally less than 10 lines of code that you can drop into your Android app and enable Android Pay for your users. So that's very, very awesome. We've also done more. We've opened up our API, the Android Pay in-app API, to all Android developers selling physical goods or services. So you can go to this URL and start integrating right away, regardless of who your payment processor is. So it's very exciting for us. But this is not the whole story with mobile checkouts. To tell us more, I want to hand it back to Sridhar.
Thank you, Pali. It's really cool that in-app payments have been, did we rush past?
I might have actually just gone right past one thing.
Can I press back on this?
Yeah, can we go back one slide? Because I just want to show you one more cool thing, which we snuck in at the last minute.
There you go.
And here's the cool part. You must have heard during the keynote earlier this morning about Android Instant Apps. What Android Instant Apps are is this really cool technology that lets you stream an app to your phone. So don't worry about installing anything. You just stream the app by clicking on a link, and you get the full native experience on your device, which is like really awesome. Now, that full native experience wouldn't be as awesome if you had to start typing in all your credit card details to complete your payment. So what we did is work with the Android team to enable Android Pay within Instant Apps. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of this experience. Maybe I'm going to like touch this, and you'll see B&H photo. I do a search for a camera, and you can see that the link literally streams the B&H photo app to my phone. I can pick my camera, check out, and then you get the exact same experience I showed you within an installed app, right? So absolutely cool, and gives you a complete experience right in place, and it's streamed to your phone. There's something that we're very, very excited about, and we expect more and more developers to take advantage of this to reach more users who've chosen not to install your app, but you can still get to them using an instant app, give them the same great experience. The user doesn't have to do anything else. If Android Pay is set up on the device, it'll just work, right? So again, something that we're very, very excited about.
Is the camera going to show up at your place by drone instantly?
That would be actually very cool. But we will talk about how things can show up soon. Here you go. So cool. Sridhar will tell us more about mobile checkouts.
So it's cool that we can solve the problem of in-app checkouts, make it easier, make it streamlined, make it secure. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of us spend a lot of time on mobile web. The time spent skews more towards mobile apps. The fact of the matter is, something like half of all transactions happen on mobile web. But mobile web does not have any of the support that in-apps have had. It's a different programming model. And the result is that you and I are stuck with really long payment forms and really long details forms that we have to fill out very slowly on tiny keyboards. And it doesn't work that well. We give up pretty often. Conversion rates are pretty low. So we took a baby step last year and were stunned by the results that we saw. We did something that we call Chrome Payments Autofill. It's a small idea. Take your Google credentials, your Google payment credentials that you put into Android Pay, that you have put into Google Play, and have it be available for form fill-out on mobile web. Again, for users that actually used payment autofill, for checkout, the merchants saw a 25% increase in conversion rate. Again, a staggering number where wins come in half and quarter and single-digit percentages. And while this is cool, the larger problem still remains. You still have to fill out other details, go through longish checkout forms. Of course, the dreaded user ID and password. I don't know about you, but I have a ton of passwords stored with the password manager on Chrome. I have a spreadsheet full of user IDs and passwords that I have to figure out what to do with. It just keeps growing longer. And we really need to be able to do a whole lot better. So what if I were to tell you that you, as a merchant, will be able to create an experience for your consumer that's going to be simple and secure, using tokenized credentials, and really make these long checkout forms and the crazy drop-offs a thing of the past? And what if you, as a consumer, also were able to see all your mobile web transactions at the same place, along with your in-store and in-app transactions, the way you can do with Android Pay today? We think that would be pretty cool. And so we are thrilled to announce something we call Payment Request, working with the Chrome team and standardizing across all browsers to really simplify mobile checkout. It provides developers and retailers, obviously, the simple tools that they need to create a great mobile payments experience on mobile web. And this way, users have a consistent experience regardless of whether they transact inside an app or on the mobile web. And Wally is going to show us more about how this works.
Awesome. If we can switch to the Wolf Vision again. This is an API we're very excited about because it's an open, standardized API. I'm going to show how it works within a website. So we opened up a website in Chrome, and turns out to be a little store that we built for ourselves so we can order branded gear. And as you can tell, I love wearing branded T-shirts with Android Pay on them, usually.
Always gray?
Always gray, unfortunately, yes. I'm very bland in my taste of color. So I'm going to go in and shop for some T-shirts. As you can tell, we have some cool YouTube T-shirts. We also have just plain Google T-shirts. But because I'm boring, I'm just going to pick Android Pay again. So I'm going to pick an Android Pay T-shirt. I'm going to add it to cart. Okay? And as I add it to cart, this is usually the portion of the experience that you dread when you're on a mobile website. And I've tried checking out before, and it literally is multiple pages of filling out everything from your billing address, shipping address, including your credit card information, Chrome Autofill really helps you with that. But what payment request does is help you skip all of this and get that same experience that you saw within apps. So what I'm going to do now is actually show you the checkout experience. So I'm going to hit checkout. Did you notice how quickly that came up? So that's the full native experience showing up in a website with Android Pay just working. Okay? So I'm going to hit pay. And again, I have to confirm with my fingerprint. Okay? And you can see my Bank of America MasterCard there that I'm going to use for my purchase. And it's just that simple. Okay? I'm done. And notice I also got a notification right away from the store, which I can open up and actually see within my Bank of America app. Okay? Right under the Bank of America card in the Android Pay app, you see all of the transactions that I've made as well. And you see some of the transactions I've made at TFL.
You should notice that Polly did the same thing here that he did for the in-app checkout. He just unlocked the phone, no pins, nothing else. It just works seamlessly, which is what is cool about this vision that we are driving.
Yeah, so it's very exciting for us. But of course, these APIs always require one critical thing for them to be successful, and that's all of you. Right? And we wanted to make sure that we have a set of partners testing this API with us and testing the experience with us so we could really make it magical. So I'm very pleased to announce that we have a really awesome set of partners already signed up to beta test payment request, and we also have folks like Shopify and Jet.com adding in Android Pay into this experience as well. So very, very exciting for us. So with that, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, right? And talk about a critical use case for paying with your phone. And this is transit. Transit is something that users in major cities like London do at least twice a day, and sometimes many more times a day. So if there's ever anything that like both meets and exceeds the toothbrush test, if you will, it's transit. Right? So we're very, very excited to showcase the Android Pay experience for transit. And we've done that in partnership with one of the leaders in contactless payments, Transport for London. Okay? Now, if you didn't know, Transport for London completes 13 million journeys daily for Londoners across tube, rail, and bus. So it's absolutely huge volumes. Now, what if you could actually create an experience that was just a little bit faster and more convenient for all of these Londoners taking TFL? And so we want to show you what we worked on with the TFL team. And it's been an incredible partnership. But to demonstrate it, I'm going to direct your attention to the left there to some TFL gates that we've actually got from London. It's absolutely cool. These are the real deal. And what I'm going to demonstrate to you is an experience that has the exact same thing that Londoners are using daily, right? Now, the only thing we've done here that's a little bit more custom is we've showcased an experience that's going to be rolling out over the next few months. And by the end of the year, we should have it, which shows you a truly amazing experience in terms of how the receipts show up within Android Pay, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you as well. So we're very excited to do this. But without further ado, I'm going to enter in through one station and then exit through the other station. And so you should be able to see me enter in through the Paddington station, I think this is. So Vinny, if you can just focus on the phone here so folks can see it. OK, great. And so I'm going to, no need to open my app, nothing else. Literally, all I need to do, tap, and I've just paid with my Lloyd's MasterCard. Absolutely incredible. And I think you saw how fast that experience was. And I personally experienced this when I was in London. So I'm going to tap again. That's simple. And it truly is faster than the experience that you actually can get using other forms of payment. So we're very excited about this. And I'm going to show you the rest of the experience on the Wolf Vision, if we don't mind switching. So the first thing that I'm going to call your attention to is what the receipts show up as. So I'm going to go to my Lloyds Bank MasterCard. Notice that I actually got 2 notifications here, one for entering in the Paddington station and the other for exiting in Victoria. Okay, really cool. And I'm going to just go into one of those, and it shows you exactly where my journey was. So we're very, very excited to be working with TfL to bring this to Londoners who are using Android Pay. That's the first thing. The second cool feature is today, when you forget to tap out, unfortunately, what has to happen is, and by the way, just to confirm what I mean tap out, as you enter your journey, you have to tap in, as I just demonstrated, but as you exit, you have to usually tap out. Sometimes folks who are in a hurry forget to tap out, and they might get charged the maximum amount for the day. Now, we've solved that problem for both users and for TfL. And you can see that I'd taken a bunch of rides while I was there over the weekend. And I've forgotten to tap out for one of them on purpose. And I got a notification from Android Pay. And I don't know whether you can see it. Oh, it is a little white, so I'm going to like try to tilt it a little bit. Can you see that now?
Yep.
Perfect. So I have a notification that reminds me to tap out and complete my journey so I can avoid the maximum fare. It's really awesome for users and really awesome for TfL as well. So very, very excited.
For those of us that have had a Hillary Clinton moment in New York City subways, this is, this is a welcome change.
So I've set up Android Pay right when we launched last September. And I've had my Bank of America Visa card in Android Pay. I'm a Bank of America customer. And I've had my Bank of America Visa debit card in Android Pay. I've used it for all kinds of purchases. The one thing I've never been able to do with my Bank of America Visa debit card is get cash at an ATM. But that's changed because we've partnered with Bank of America. And to tell us more is Michelle Moore, the head of digital banking at Bank of America. Michelle?
Thank you. Thank you, Polly. We're really excited to be here today and excited to be a partner with Android Pay. Bank of America is committed to our clients to making their financial lives simple, easy, and secure. And to do just that, we've heard your feedback, and we have built with Android Pay the ability to withdraw cash at an ATM. And you can actually do it live today across 650 ATMs in the Silicon Valley and San Francisco area. Woo. By the end of this month, we'll be live on 2,400 ATMs, and by the end of this year, 5,000 ATMs. So why don't we take a walk over to the ATM and see this in action?
Awesome. Look forward to seeing it.
So I figured I would take out $20, and maybe you can buy me one of these Android Pay shirts.
Only cost like $9, Michelle, so we'll send you 2.
We'll have 2. Excellent. Yeah. Thank you. OK. It's as easy as holding the phone next to the reader. It's read the Android Pay. It is asking me for my PIN number, like it normally should for security purposes. So I'll enter in my PIN. $20, you'll buy me 2 T-shirts. Excellent.
Good.
Just what I always wanted. And here we go. Live now. Here you go. It's that simple. No more reason to carry around your debit card or your credit card.
But Michelle, it's only 16 bucks.
You can keep the change.
Well, thank you.
Awesome.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So we're super excited. Thank you for the partnership, and look forward to using this at an ATM really close by. And if you guys are in the San Francisco area for a little bit longer, take advantage of this. Go try it out at a Bank of America ATM near you. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah. So you saw a couple of the use cases for using Android Pay, new use cases. You saw, of course, the journey on TFL, and you saw the cash withdrawals at the Bank of America ATM. So now I want to talk to you about one more feature that we're building in partnership with all of our merchants. And that's the ability to save money as well. We already save you time, and it's convenient, but what if we could save you money too? And to do that, what I want to showcase with you is the experience that we've built with Walgreens. It's available to all our merchant partners using an open API again, but we're really thrilled about what we've built with Walgreens. So let me grab one of these phones here, and we can go back to the Wolf Vision. Let me grab both the phones, because I'm going to show you two different experiences, and we are very excited about it. Can we cut to the Wolf Vision, if you don't mind? OK, wonderful. So we have the phone up. And before I actually dive into the demo, I just want to ask you a question. How many of you have signed up for a loyalty card but forgot to use it when you're in the store? It's quite a few of us, right? And so we figured we'd work with Walgreens to help you save the card to Android Pay so we can automatically use it at checkout, so that we can remember it for you and you never have to lose any more points again. Now, there's two ways to do this. The first way, of course, is if I'm an existing member. You remember I told you I had a 7-year-old kid? It means I'm a frequent Walgreens customer. Okay? Go there all the time. And I've signed up for Balance Rewards, which is an amazing loyalty program. And so if you're an existing user like me, Walgreens can just send you an email or an SMS, or even have a button on their site that lets you just save the Balance Rewards card to Android Pay with just one touch. So let me just show it to you within an email. So I've got an email from Walgreens, and they're giving me an offer to save this Balance Reward card to Android Pay, and I'm just going to do that by touching it. And it's that simple. Okay? Balance Rewards card saved to Android Pay. And it's telling you that all I need to do to use this is tap, and I'm set. Okay? Very, very exciting. But then what if you're not a member already? So we decided to build an amazing experience for that as well. So I'm going to show you an experience within Android Pay. Okay? Sorry, let me get this up. Turns out that I've paid at Walgreens, okay, with my Amex card within Android Pay. And I have a receipt from Walgreens already in this app. So open up the receipt. It shows me an amazingly helpful receipt, which has the map, the exact location where I made this purchase, and a personalized message from Walgreens that lets me sign up for the Balance Rewards card. So I'm going to touch sign up here, and notice that all my information is already filled in. Okay, so no typing at all. I'm going to transfer and share this information to Walgreens. Okay? Everything is filled in again. All I have to do is type in a password, which I'm going to do now. Submit. Save. And I'm a new Balance Rewards member. So very, very cool. And again, it's as simple as tapping on a Walgreens terminal in order to use this Balance Rewards card. So we've made the experience really, really simple, and it's available to all merchants as well. But let's go in and try to complete this purchase here and show you what the experience looks like. So we have here a terminal. Can we switch to this? Yeah, we have here a terminal. This is an actual Walgreens terminal, okay? And we're going to show you what it's like to make a purchase of one of these really nice like almonds, okay? Turns out it normally costs $5.99. Vinny, can you just focus in a little bit closer on it so that maybe you can actually see the charge? Okay. So I think you noticed it, right? So it's $5.99, except that that's just a regular price. If you have a Balance Rewards card, you get a price break on this, which is very cool, helps you save money. Okay? So what I'm going to do is show you how easy it is to use your Balance Rewards card with Android Pay. So look at my phone. Again, I don't need to open the app. This is the consistent theme. I don't have to open up Android Pay to use it, etc. I'm just going to tap, and I've transferred my Balance Rewards card. That's simple. And I've got a price break, and the new price is $3.99. And to complete this purchase, all I have to do is tap again, transfer my Amex, and the purchase is done. Okay? We're very excited about this experience. So look forward to seeing more merchants integrate to this experience so that you can engage your customers better and your customers get to save money. So with that, I want to hand over to Sridhar.
Thank you, Polly. These are some amazing demos again. Of course, we wanted to make sure that we did something for small and medium-sized merchants as well. So we worked with Square to make available for a limited time to qualified retailers a free contactless reader as well as discounted payment processing on all Android Pay transactions. We want to make sure that all merchants get benefit when consumers use Android Pay to pay. I want to touch on something really, really important. It's the last portion of our talk, but it's super critical. It hits many of the points that I talked about earlier. It's clear that financial institutions, the ones that we have our credit, debit, all these relationships with, need to play an active role in moving the mobile payment ecosystem forward. And when we envisioned Android Pay, we created APIs that these banks could use to bring the payment experience right within their app. Why is this a big deal? Because there's a lot of detail to implementing a great payments experience. And they could integrate it right into their app, saving themselves a lot of implementation headaches, security headaches, and of course time, which is the most important currency. And they do that, then they're free to innovate on what else they offer their consumers. These banks are often the ones that know us best. They're the ones that are observing our transactions. They're the ones that we have our relationships with. We think this will drive a lot of innovation in how mobile payments are brought out to consumers. So we're very pleased that a number of banks, both in the US and abroad, are working with us to integrate Android Pay directly into their app. We think this will drive more innovation and provide more flexibility for consumers. We think of this as a win-win for Android, Android Pay, and for these banks, and of course consumers as well. And with that, now I want to thank all of you, our developer partners, in bringing this Android story forward. Without us working together, there's not going to be a lot of innovation. And so we really look to working with you to improve the way mobile payments work. And for us to get past the which pay is doing what and more to mobile payments just work in a way that is expected and convenient for all of us. So thanks to all of you for helping us realize this vision of Android Pay being everywhere, in mobile apps, in physical stores, in mobile web as well. So Polly and I have barely touched on the surface of topics that can literally take days of discussion. We're going to be having lots of breakout sessions over the next 2 days, and I think one right after this session,
right after this.
right here.
Yeah.
And so please attend those. Please ask us lots of questions. There'll be folks from the payments team in all of these breakout sessions. We look forward to talking with you and really helping bring this vision of Android Pay to the larger world. And with that, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.